Hello there, you guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the Sarabanda by Tartini. So for those of you on Patreon, there is a little picture there for you with all my notes and everything attached, and also a link to the ETUDE. And for those of us on YouTube, hello, and you're watching this just a little bit later, you might know, and the link to this ETUDE is also linked for you in the description. So last time when we were working on this one, we looked at the first half. Today we're going to look at the second half. We talked about fingerings. We talked about dynamics a little bit. Did we talk about dynamics? I think we might not have talked about dynamics. We'll talk about dynamics this time. And before we get into it, let me just give you the quick commercial that there's all sorts of things over there for you on Patreon. If you would like to take your music time up a notch for not very much money at all, there's 4 events that you can come to each month on Zoom. There's 2 violin viola group classes. You can even bring this to work on. I plan a lesson for the first half of it, and then the second half of it is just individual practice time. Bring your cup of tea. It's really lovely. The next thing is our monthly virtual studio circle, which is the last Friday of every month at 7:30. And that's our time to just have some music bubble time together. We have a time to chat, but we also have a time to hold some positive space for people that need to practice performing or would like to practice performing or just being in the spotlight. It's a really valuable time, the virtual studio circle. And then lastly, I am always excited about this one. I always invite every month a guest artist teacher to come and teach a class for us. So whether it's a music history or violin or viola professor or a specialist in a specific kind of technique or style, or somebody who's not music related but I think is interesting, it's like an interesting link for music, whether it's like a qigong or yoga or some kind of meditation practice, other instruments. We've had trumpet professors come talk about breathing, all sorts of interesting things. I'd love to see you there. Please check that out on YouTube. And if you're on Patreon, yay! And I'm so excited to see you at some of our events this month. It'll be lovely to see your beautiful smiling faces and do a cheers. So let's look at the second half. I'm going to play it for you to begin with. So this is measure 3 of line 4 of the Sarabanda by Giuseppe Tartini from our Old Masters series. So here we go. So something like that. So let's talk dynamics first. The dynamic is pretty soft for the entire piece. There's moments where it swells and comes up, but it's mostly piano. So this is a great place to practice, or a great opportunity, I should say, to practice playing closer to the fingerboard, playing with the side of the hair. I'm trying to get that vague, beautiful sound that we can get over the fingerboard, that gentle tone. So the other thing bowing wise is I'm having you start on an up bow and then go to the down bow for beat 2, which is a little unusual. We typically start on a down bow when we begin things, but in this case the Sarabanda has a strong beat 2. So works really well versus it just sounds and looks, I think, nicer to do that like little lift on the down, so that the way you start the down bow, it's almost like a pickup in a way. who else's hair gets stuck in the shoulder rest? It's just, I always joke that there's going to be a bald spot on this side of the head, but I feel like my hair is just growing like extra thick on that side, thankfully. So anyway, let's do some fingerings. I'm starting in third position. That way it's not... It's a little bit gentler in third position there. And then a couple measures later, we're going to second position. So to get to second position, I'm going from third finger. This is E flat right here. I need to go to D. So I'm just pulling my arm back a half step. And remember, we talked about this last time. You're going to shift on the finger that you're on to take you to the finger you need. We're going to do a fabulous little tricky shift that is almost imperceptible for even you, for even yourself as the player, because it's so easy. You're just going from one position to another position on that little half step shift. So back to first position here. And then I've given you an idea to try going gracefully to that fourth finger. And fourth finger, I know how confident we all feel with the fourth finger. But let's just try and see if we can get there. So I am going from third finger to fourth finger, and you can see it's the third finger that's traveling so that fourth finger then eventually gets there. We're going from D to E flat to F. That way fourth finger can find G. So when you practice it, and it's your arm that's doing that movement, you can do a lot of, and then little shifts like that. You don't want like a grotesque yeah kind of slide. So see if you can do it in a graceful way. Back down. And there's this little diminuendo. Listen to how beautiful the diminuendo is. I know it's tricky to do. Versus. It's like mysterious and beautiful, so definitely try to do that. The next line, this is line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a little tricky moment there, but if you leave your first finger down the whole time, you won't get lost. So leave your first finger there. They're all squished together. G, A flat. You can see they're all squished. And then this is a tricky shift opportunity. We're going from a B flat up to A here. So we're going to third position there. But it's kind of tricky to find that. It's also a half step. B flat to A is a half step. So it's kind of easier to hear that one. But in the words of my teacher, prepare, preparation. And so I'm getting second finger out, and my elbow is helping me get over there. Because I don't really want to hear him. I want to hear him. So if you can try to hide the shift there and just think about preparing, getting over there as quickly as you can, then stay. This is a finger replacement shift from first finger to, I'm sorry, it's not a finger replacement shift. It's just a kind of tricky shift where we go from third position to second position. It's still happening at a half step. This is G. We're going to A. So what's happening is my first finger is on G, but in order for my third finger to find A flat, I'm in second position. So really my first finger is going back to the note F, G, F, see how the first finger is finding that? Then second finger and then third finger would be the slow way, and then with time you can see the hand pattern is still there. So it helps to know where your first finger is. Have you ever heard your teacher say that before? Like, do you know where the first finger is? We always need to know where the first finger is. First finger, first finger, first finger. Okay, so we have another half step shift to first position. Repeat. So it's happening at the frog here for me. It's hard to play really quietly at the frog. So maybe what you could do is not get all the way back to the frog. Try to get back here. So especially because you need to, oh, there it is. You need to give yourself enough bow for the up bow. And also the contact point change with the bow here. That way you get this really delicate sound change by changing the contact point. So I thank you guys with all of that. I hope this was interesting. I hope you had a little giggle and had some fun with me today. And happy practicing. I hope to see you on Patreon. Please go check out the Patreon for those of you on Patreon. I can't wait to see you at our little events this month. It will be lovely. I hope you enjoy this. Go befriend a pianist as always. And we have 2 more songs left in this Old Masters series. So if you happen to have any requests for what you want to do next, I do have some ideas up my sleeve, but I'm just curious. I'm going to start asking you guys if you have any ideas for what you'd like to do next time. Did you enjoy the Old Masters series? And with that, I'll see you all very soon. Lots of love.